chains of gold, you're released. A pretty smile, a silent song. Is this where we all belong? Bow your head, they whisper low. But how far down does freedom go? Why submissive women are happier? Is it the lie or the laughter? Hold your tongue and hold your breath. Is it life or just a softer death? They sell a dream in a velvet case with lace and rules to keep your place. The crown they give is made of glass. One wrong move and it won't last. Close your eyes, they say it's sweet, but the sweetness stains the air we breathe. Why submissive women are happier? Is it the lie or the laughter? Hold your tongue and hold your breath. Is it life or just a softer death?
Hi, my name is Marian de la Croix, and welcome to the Happy Submissive Podcast. I wrote a book called Why Submissive Women Are Happier, and in the podcast, we talk about themes that are related to the book. Now, it can be in the book, or it can also be the broader expand of the book. I want to talk about the reaction of men to the title of my book, because I've had a lot of those. And I'm not talking on the internet. I mean, the internet is a completely different place. You have many reactions on the internet, of course, but the internet is anonymous. You have people that have pseudos, that don't have pictures, that just say random things on the internet because it is the internet. So of course they can judge a book by its cover over there. But I'm talking of the interactions that I had in real life with men. Either sitting at a bar, either going in the park, either walking around and meeting people and telling them the title of my book, going on, I guess, dates in the way that you have like dates with friends, things like that, or people you've just met and you're like, hi, I'm an author and I wrote this book, and then you say the title and suddenly the room becomes cold. Or things like that have to totally happen to me in real life. So the title of my book, of course, is Why Submissive Women Are Happier. And just that is completely controversial and has a lot just staring in the blank, right? They just not freak out, but some people have strong emotions with titles like this one. And that's exactly why that's the title of the book, because it does give you a strong reaction. Either you hate it, either you love it, or either you question your whole entire life. I mean, I don't really like dogmas in the sense that if it makes you be like no right away, well then there's no really enough room for discussion, and that's kind of sad in that way, because my book is not at all meant for it to be religious or dogmatic. It's my perspective on life and on the life that I've been living for the past 10 years, almost 11 years actually right now. So when I go out and I present my book or my card, because I have a card now, and this card, of course, has a title. It has my name, it says I'm an author, it has my email, and even my phone number. And I give it to someone, and then this someone always says the same thing. All men always tell me the exact same thing. I'll give it to my wife. And then they start laughing. And I don't find it that funny for many different reasons that we're going to go over right here, right now. Now, you'll give it to your wife. Of course, the book title is Why Submissive Women Are Happier, not Submissive Men. So if I am talking to a man, I do assume that if he has a girlfriend or a wife, of course he thinks that the book is meant for his girlfriend, his wife, probably not his daughter, unfortunately, but in general, that's what I imagine. But in the end, I'll tell you who it's meant for and what it's meant for in general. Now, when they say that to me, they say, I'm gonna give it to my wife, or I'll make my wife read it. And they have this kind of disconnect, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'll make her read the book and then she's gonna be happy. Or, oh, she needs to read this. Or, oh, we need more submissive women in the world. Like, do you guys actually know what submission is? Do you actually know what makes a woman happy and why submissive women are happier? Because, I mean, it's a whole big thing to say that submissive women are, oh yeah, the girl in the bedroom that's just gonna let you do whatever you want with her. But that's the BDSM side of things. That's the sex side of things. That has like nothing to do with all of the rest of your life that happens outside of the bedroom. And of course, for some, submissive means slave. So, oh yeah, give this to my wife and she's just gonna bring me beer, she's gonna cook all my meals, she's gonna take care of the kids, and I'll have to do nothing. And everybody wants a slave, but I mean, everybody wants a slave. Even women want slaves. Who doesn't want a slave? That's why we have like China and everything is super cheap. Because like slavery still exists in those countries and we pay people for like dimes. And I mean like dimes. I just learned recently that in Madagascar, a person is worth $500. Imagine how low that is. So, all of that being said, of course, everybody would like to have an house elf or an house gimp or whatever you want to call them, slaves. But this is not humane. You don't do that to a person. There is no growth in slavery. There's no empowerment in slavery. It's only in slavery. So, a submissive is not a slave. Well, not in my book. But this is why when I give the title to a man and he tells me, I'll make my wife read it. Maybe then she's gonna be happy. Well, the only thing I can think of is, why isn't she happy right now? And why did you take that wife if it's not going that well? Of course, there's kids, life, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I understand what happens to many couples out there. But being a submissive, for one, is not being a slave. And for two, it has a lot to do with the man in the couple and not just the woman. I mean, if you were to be an actual submissive, you need to submit to someone, and this someone needs to make you do things or want to make you do things. They need to actually bring you somewhere. There's a purpose to submission. There's no purpose to slavery. Not at all. You just like, you're a slave and you do slave things and that's it. There's no growth, none of that. But why submissive women are happier is meant for women to be empowered within submission. And also to choose it consciously and to choose the right master or the right man to whom they give their submission to. Because just giving your submission away like that to anybody is definitely not gonna make you happy. And that's where I think men have a lot to learn. Because, of course, all men want a submissive woman. I think most men want a submissive woman. But they're not looking at it in the right way. Men are proactive. You guys are like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the testosterone. Maybe it's just the way a man is. But men wake up and do things. Men want to bring money. Men want to have sex with everything that moves. So they do things. And when I say things, I mean they do so much. They have jobs, they have a house, they have girlfriends and they have girlfriends. They have wives and they have mistresses. I mean, they can manage all of that together and they're fine with it. So that's a man in my idea of a man. Women, though, are quite different. Women have something completely different where it feels like everything takes some time and they need to be guided and they need a purpose and they need to, like, You know, I think women need a lot of support and affection and all of these other things.
Crown they give is made of glass. One wrong move and it won't last. Close your eyes, they say it's sweet, but the sweetness stains the air we breathe. Why submissive women are happier? Is it the lie or the laughter? Hold your tongue and hold your breath. Is it life or just a softer death? Ooh.
That's what I think, though. I think that women and men are different. And in that way, I think that there's a responsibility for both parties to get involved within each other. And so when men laugh at the title and when men kind of de-responsibilize themselves by saying, "Oh, I'll give that to my wife so she reads it." Well, that defeats the purpose. Don't you want to be the master of your wife? Don't you want her to be submissive to you? Because maybe, just maybe, if you make her read my book, she's gonna find another husband or another master because you just made her read the book and you did not read it. So you have no idea what type of knowledge is in there that could empower her to be like, you know what, actually, I want another husband. And so there is some useful information in there for men and women. Of course, it's from my perspective, the woman's perspective on things. But I think that the fact that I am a submissive and that I've been a submissive for about 11 years has made me see the other side even better than a lot of women. I won't say like that all women are not able to see the man's side, but I think that very little men are able to express themselves freely nowadays, especially with all the toxic masculinity and the feminism and all that, in a way that they can open themselves enough to tell women how they actually feel and what their real needs are. And I guess, being a submissive, I was able to really get that feedback from my master openly and to understand men at another level, where I think probably prostitutes do understand men at that same level, mostly for sex though, maybe not for business. And then some other women would understand that if they were probably very close to their fathers or if they had mentors that were masculine and things like that. But in general, unless you had close brothers, that sort of thing, you will only get your female perspective or you will only get your male perspective. But the more we get talking to each other, the more we can understand which gender has what qualities, right? And which one we want to enrich each other with. So, Why Submissive Women Are Happier is not a book to give to your wife and give her yet another chore to do so that she can read it and then you can just stand there and wait for your beer or for the dishes to be done. I mean, this is not submission. This is slavery, completely different. And of course, a woman who loves a man or even a man who loves a woman is gonna do those things, those gestures of love, however you want to call them. We are still in an era where doing dishes is better than it was because we have dishwashers now. But still, if you have a family and things to do, you might want to separate these tasks. And I understand. That's not what I'm saying in the book. I'm not saying that you should split 50-50 or that the woman should do everything on her own when it relates to chores. No. That's not it. So as a man, you definitely need to take the lead. This is like, if you want a submissive woman and you can't even sit down and read a book, I mean, you will never get a submissive woman. You will get a woman that is either already made, so she's going to be, beautiful, and she's going to be maybe even a little bit independent, probably maybe even financially independent. Maybe also she will be her own boss in a way, or she will have a job that is, if not higher than you, in the same salary range or the same like position as you, and she will never be submissive to you. I mean, how can she be submissive to you if she's actually putting in as much as you? This is like not possible. You can't ask a woman who is higher than a man to submit to a man. And we're not talking only in the bedroom here. We're talking of a whole entire partnership. Bedroom, putting on like a show for a Saturday night and being submissive for Saturday or dominant for Saturday. I think everybody can do that in the bedroom for a little while. And we're not talking like hardcore stuff. We're just talking, you want to try it out, right? Spice things up. All of these things. All of these things people can do and will possibly do once in their lifetime, because I mean we live to be like 86 now approximately. So that's old enough to actually have a few sexual explorations in your life, unless you're like crazy religious, but that's another topic for another time. That being said, if you want a submissive woman, and now when I present my book I just leave it there in the bar. I'm there, I'm studying it, doing edits on it, first edition. I'm having a cocktail, I leave it there, I look at it, talk to master, we talk together about the book, about what's the next step, all of these things. And then like one guy's gonna be like, oh, that's an interesting title. It's an interesting book. I think, yeah, I'm gonna give it to my wife to read. Well, there's the problem. Like if you want a submissive wife and you chose a wife that's already all done, she has the career, she has the money and all these things, and she's already beautiful and mani-pedi, well, she's not gonna be submissive. This is not how it works. Like, because what are you bringing her as a man? What are you giving her? Or how can she lean on you for anything in your relationship? If it's just a baby daddy, this is not enough. It will not make her submissive if you just provide sperm and a father figure. This is just this. It's like this much, like an ant much. That's not enough. But it's okay if you're already in your relationship. I'm not saying that you should divorce or like split or anything like that. All I'm saying is that this book is for men as much as it is for women. If a actual man could write, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and of course I write a title like Why Submissive Women Are Happier, I understand that it sounds more like it's for women. But if you are a man that wants a submissive woman, or that doesn't understand why their woman is unhappy, or they feel she's unhappy, or they feel she's not submissive enough, well, then the clues could be in there. And it's a better start there, or in other type of, I guess, self-help books, or books about real life stories, that you'll get your answers. So this always makes me a bit, I don't know. As much as I love men, in general, I'm not like the type of feminist that is anti-male. I'm the type of feminist that is really for men. I feel that this is just the wrong way. It's so wrong to look at it that way. To look at it in the way that the submissive woman would be this type of woman that's just there, and you make her read the book and then she does everything you want. Do we agree this is slavery? I mean, I know we're getting back to this point, but do we agree that's what it is? I'll let you think about this.
Kneel down and you'll find peace in chains of gold. You're released. A pretty smile, a silent song. Is this where we all belong? Bow your head, they whisper low. But how far down does freedom go? Why submissive women are happier? Is it the light?
So there are many risks of your wife reading my book, Why Submissive Women Are Happier, and ditching your ass. Why is that? Well, okay. So first things first, what do you bring to your couple, to your wife? Who are you as a person? Now, for a woman to submit to a man, there needs to be a power exchange. There needs to be something in there, okay? So for me and my master, he had knowledge, he had more money, he had a business, and he was doing arts. Those are all things that I wanted to do. Now, when we say master, also, let's clear that out of the way right now, and submissive in the same way, they can mean more than BDSM and kink. I mean, these words are used everywhere else too, but for some reason, after the 50 Shades of Grey craze, everybody's been using them only in BDSM. But no, a master can be like a sensei, a teacher, a mentor, a guide. There's many other etymologies to the word master than just master slave or master submissive or playing in the BDSM world. Same for submissive. You can submit to someone, you can be a submissive in many different fields. I mean, if you're a student, you submit to your teacher. If you are let's say you're a teacher, you're going to submit to the director of the school because that's your boss. So you submit in many different ways too, not just sexually. Of course, we are all human, so there's a hierarchy and there's some sexual connotations or components to all relationships, I feel. But getting back to master and to you having a submissive wife as a man or having just a submissive girlfriend or being in that type of relationship, it would take, for one, that you know what you can offer. What's your worth as a master? What's your worth as a man? What can you bring? Is it only money? It's okay if it's only money, but you need to know how much money you have because you're going to be competing with the guys that have Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, maybe even business, trips, airplanes, whatever. You're going to be competing to that. So if it's money, well, yeah, okay. Put that clear that you have money and that's what you offer. It can be other things than money. Not all women just want money. I mean, it's part of it for sure. There's a security to money. There's a stability to money. But it doesn't need to be millions. In my book, I've had some experience with other men before master. They had more money. And I didn't want that. So that being said, money is one thing. The other thing would be knowledge. What do you do for a living? And of course, it can be a hobby too, but we're going to start with knowledge. If you are somebody who has a special set of skills, if you are an artist, if you are a lawyer, if you are, let's take another job. Like it could be more like white collar accountant. It could also be in construction. Maybe you have a boss. That is also possible. But anything you do, a skill you own, an electrician, let's say. Even the electricians, they're called master electricians when they get to that higher rank. You see, that's another way to use the word master or the name master that has no sexual connotations to it. So you need to tune into that skill and find a woman who would maybe like to learn under you. Because a partnership doesn't just have to be to have kids, a family. It could be more than that. You could bring that. And when I say that, I mean you could teach her. I didn't do motorcycle. I didn't. But when I met Master, he had his motorcycle license. So I went through the motorcycle license process with him. He helped me a lot. And then I got my motorcycle license and then we did motorcycle together. A whole bunch of motorcycle. That's a skill or something that you have that you can bring to someone else. If you're single right now and you're looking for a woman to build a life with, even if it's just for a little bit or maybe for a long bit, doesn't matter. And you ride your motorcycle all the time. Either you want to have one of those big motorcycles and she backseats with you, or you want a girl who's willing to do her motorcycle license to be with you. Not because she fell in love on the first date and she's like, oh yeah, I'll do everything you want me to do. Not like that, but because she was genuinely interested in doing her motorcycle license even before she met you and you can just offer that to her. That's an extra. That's something you will have in common for the rest of your lives. And that's what you need to find. What's your worth as a master? What's your worth as a man? is not only numbers, it's also skills, it's also wisdom. You might have life experiences, and those are different than being an electrician or a lawyer or just having worked the same job for a long time and being able to fix the printer. I mean, we're talking about life knowledge in general. Maybe you've traveled a lot and you know a few cultures and you know places that nobody else knows. Maybe that's your wisdom. And that's fine. Some women are looking for these streetwise guys and they want that. They would like for you to take them places and make them visit places. Maybe you speak more than one language. Maybe she doesn't want to learn the language, but she wants a translator everywhere she goes. All of these things, those are what makes you a master. Now, the tricky part, the really tricky part, is not to find the girl that you want to have sex with. It's to find the girl that wants some of these skills, wisdoms, or money. Find the girl that wants more than one of these things so that you can teach her and you can bring her these. And then you will mold each other together and grow together more than if you just get a wife, have babies, and do nothing else together. And then she doesn't submit, and she doesn't submit because you're not a master. It's that simple. If you were a master, she would have already submitted to you a long time ago. But this is not how it went. So when men say, "Oh, why submissive women are happier?" Yeah, I'll give this book to my wife. I'll make her read it. That way she's going to be happier. Well, all I have to say to that is there's a good chance that maybe she's just going to leave you and be happier with somebody else. So, that being said, this is a roundup of what I've encountered in real life with the title of my book. And for men to just think that women are unhappy and that submissive women are happier, it is true. But it doesn't work with anybody and everybody. You need to have the power dynamic. If we're talking about a submissive woman, we're talking about a dominant man. They have to go hand in hand, or else it doesn't work. Who do you submit to? Or who's the master in the relationship? Now, since it's a male woman, because that's what I have, so that's what I can talk about and share. And all of my life experiences for the past 11 years is in my book, Why Submissive Women Are Happier, because I've lived it. I mean, I've become rich, famous, happy, and all of these other things that you can think of because I submitted. But I didn't submit to anybody. I submitted consciously and to the right man, to a man that could bring me the things that I truly, really desired. And so I knew what he was worth. But most importantly, he knew what he was worth when we met. And he presented me all of these things that he could give me. Some things he could not give me. He didn't promise me the moon. He couldn't give me that. He didn't promise me that he would teach me mechanics because he's not a mechanic. That was not his thing. He knew who he was and he knew what he could give. And it just so happened that that's what I wanted. So we got together. And that's when our master sub relationship flourished. And everything after that, well, is 11 years of many beautiful things that you can all read about in my book, Why Submissive Women Are Happier. And if you have any questions, comments, controversies, please don't hesitate and just write a comment. And of course, share it with any guy or girl that you think would benefit from a good shake or slap in the face. I'm Marian de la Croix, and this was Happy Submissive, the podcast.
They say kneel down and you'll find peace. In chains of gold you're released. A pretty smile, a silent song. Is this where we are?